Welcome to Shapes 2. My name is Nilaus, and this is a brand new series of Shapes 2. And I know what you're thinking, how can this be a brand new series if we have all the milestones completed, as you can see here on the screen? Well, that's because after all the milestones are completed, something new unlocks. And that is these randomized goals that are complex and interesting and challenging. And it actually proposes here that you can either build this shape ourselves, or we can make a make anything machine. So we're going to make a make anything machine, and that's the objective of this series. It's going to be a tutorial guide on how to make it, and also a little bit of tinkering and fun and trying to do some live programming on stream, which is never going to be working. So that's what we're going to do. Basically the MAM, the make anything machine, is taking this input and then generating, building a base that can actually generate this shape by itself and send it into the vortex. That is a lot of complexity because it can have crystals, it can have pins, it can have multiple layers, it can have holes in them, it can have all the different colors. So that is a lot of complexity. And when we start a complex IT problem, then want to approach it, then we want to break it down into simple components so we can get a little win and I can get a deliverable done in each episode. So that's what we're going to do today. So the first phase of this is to take away a lot of the constraints. And the constraints that we are going to take away is we're not going to do crystals right now, we're not going to do pins right now, we're not going to do multiple layers right now, we're not even going to do colors right now. So the only thing we want to focus on is building some circuits that we can then use to identify the shape that we want and cut that shape into so that we get that in one layer, no colors. So that should also still be ambitious enough for a single episode, I think. So that's the objective. If you are thinking this is an interesting series, then be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, all that stuff. And of course, if you also want all the blueprints, because I will of course be providing the blueprints to patron supporters. So if you're a patron supporter, you can get all these juicy blueprints and you can build your own MAM and you can improve the stuff that I'm building. Because here's the caveat, I'm not a programmer. I have been a manager of programmer, which is even worse because that means I think I know programming, but I actually don't. So that's going to be a fun little challenge for us. So all you programmers out there, you are going to be laughing at some of my bad use of logic and stuff like that. But that's fine. That's all part of the game here. Right. The objective. First, we're going to be setting some size restrictions. We are going to design this to be handling a full space belt. That means 12 lanes in, because all my designs are 12 lanes, so that's going to be what we want. We're going to be, of course, designing a little bit smaller and then scaling it up. I'll generally be scaling for designing for one level and then just making sure that I can scale it upwards. That's the objective. Let's start with some basic, and that's going to be some basic logic. Oops. We are going to get a little logic platform here. So the first thing we need to do is get that signal so we can start working with it. If you are not familiar with circuits at all in this or any other game, then it might be a little bit tricky. But I'll try to explain it as good as I can. So we have a receiver here that receives a signal from a channel. There are 8 channels, and they are operator shape 0 and 1. And then there are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I can be good to the programmers and choose the levels as 0, 1, 2, 3. Or I can make sense to all of the known programmers and have the levels called 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, we're going to be... we're not going to do that. We're just going to be looking at this operator shape. So now there is a signal on this line. We don't know what the signal is, but if there's a light green, if this turns light green, then there is a signal. It is receiving a signal. If there's a here, oh, it's also receiving a signal. The signal is just null. Then I have this display. You can attach it to a wire and then it will display the signal that's displayed on the wire. Great. Awesome. And then I'll actually be building it here. Because I might also want to just do a test shape. Instead of receiving the correct shape, I might want to do a test shape. And I think that's safer for us to do a test shape. So I'm going to do it up here. What I'm going to do a test shape is I'm going to be a circle that's red and a rectangle that's green. And a spike that is blue, and then a wedge that's white. There. That symbol is also the colors I use for trains generally, so we're going to use that. It's much clearer for us when we use this there, and so now it turns red. That means there are 2 symbols being sent in, and it gets confused, so we have to disconnect that. Right, so now we have a signal. This is what we're going to be designing for, and it goes in here. Then what we need to do is, this consists of 4 different parts. So we'd really like to be able to break this into different parts. There is luckily over here simulated buildings. These actually operate like a normal building would, but they work on a signal. So for example, you can rotate the signal, you can cut the signal, and then of course if you send a shape inbound, then you can do that. You can paint it, you can crystal simulate it, you can do all sorts of weird things, but you can also analyze it and unstack it. Those are the things that don't exist as real buildings. But for example, if we want to take this, let's get that out here just to give us some breathing room. There we go. Then that gets us analyze what it is. This says that the top, it only analyzes the top left-hand square, northeastern square on the first layer. We only have 1 layer, so that's fine. So it says circle and red. And I can then do all of this again. Copy, paste, and paste. There. And good old autosave takes a while now, like a long while. That means we could say, what if we rotate the signal once, or twice, or thrice? You can't rotate it the other way, and so you have to use multiple buildings. So now we have broken down the shape here into the constituent parts and the colors. We will gracefully ignore the colors for now, but at least we know these are the 4 parts. So what I want to build is something that looks like this. I basically have to go in here and ask the question in here, is the first one a circle? If yes, move on. If no, don't do anything. And then the next one, is the second shape quarter a circle? No, no, no. So it'll be yes, no, no, no. Then in the next one, I'm going to be asking, is the first circle or the first shape a square? No. And then it'll be no, 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 and yes. That means this one should pass on. And then so on and so forth. And then there'll be the spike, which will, the answer will be no, no, yes, and no. And similarly then, no, yes, no, no. And that means that we will then get out here one of these where it basically goes like circle, and then square, and then spike, and then wedge. That's the objective of what we do today. That's going to be what we want. So how are we going to do this? Well, yeah, well, we know we have to break it down. So let's start by getting this symbol is going to be transferred everywhere. So that needs to be transferred into this location, as well as the belts coming in. And actually, I don't want to design it in multiple levels. We'll keep it very simple. So here's the next thing. There are 12 lanes coming in, and I want 12 lanes going out here, 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 and here. All of them are going to be circles. Then obviously it's not going to work. But the thing is, we're only dealing with quarters. So one belt can be split into 4 quarters. So I can make do with just doing that. And then I can afterwards, if this is the one that goes over here, then I will be splitting it, and then I have 4 lanes. So if I do that on 3 layers, I will have 12 lanes. Good. That means these 12 lanes of inbound circles are actually able to provide 48 lanes of circle quarters out. So that's good. That's how we're going to do it. And we want to do as much as possible before we do the splitting, if we can. Well, we can't really do much, but we can do something. So that means we need to ask the question here. Is the first quadrant a sphere, a circle? And the way we do that is we're going to go over here, over there, and then we have a belt filter. And this belt filter will take an input, and then if it is a yes, it goes forward, and if it's a no, it goes to the side. Technically, we'd want to do it the other way around, but that's kind of not really what we can do right now. We kind of want the yes to go over here, but we can just reverse the signal. So what we're going to do to begin with is going over here and then grab the signal and then leap it in here. So signals on this path goes both ways, but when they go in here, then they are a transmitter and a receiver. That means it's one way. Signals out here will not go backwards. That's sometimes useful, sometimes not useful. And we know that, I know that. I will be needing to get the signal out to other locations because I need to spread it out here. So we're going to be doing this, and then we will also be taking the other belts. Will move forward, and I will just be doing this because that means when I move up here and build that, it's going to be easier because I'll just measure on the closest belt. That's just a little copy paste thing. So what I need to do now is I need to evaluate if the top, I need to evaluate the stuff we're getting in. Let's just mark that here. That's interesting. Oh, because I'm doing that. Yes, that's... I was like, what the hell? Channel 0. Weird. We're gonna get you instead. There. This is the shape we're gonna use. I'll replace it with the right signal. So this is the signal we get in. So the first thing we want to do is we want to do some evaluation. And then we have this shape evaluator, a shape analyzer. And let's see, it has to be like this. There. And then it moves the signal onwards. And then I want to just make sure that what we're actually analyzing is that one. Now, what do I need to compare it to? I need to compare it to what's on the belt. So I'm going to measure this belt. And we luckily have one that measures. Technically, now that I think of it, we don't need to measure this belt. What we could do is just basically hard code it, but I'd rather be detecting than hard coding. Now we're gonna get these two signals next to each other, and we'll also just look at what I keep pressing the T instead of the R. There we go. And okay, so here's the thing: did we evaluate this, and it actually is a full sphere, so that's no good. That means we need. There. And then we need to do this evaluator as well. So now we're only evaluating the top right hand corner, the northeastern one. And then this and this are actually the same now. Woohoo! So then we just need to make sure that we can evaluate if we can ask the question, are they the same? So we have a logic gate here, and we are going to use the equal sign, which has two inputs, and if they're equal, they will send a yes. If they're not equal, they will send a no. There we go. So are we happy? We send it in. No, we're not happy, because yes, they are equal, but yes means that they move forward. So I actually have to reverse this, the logic, and I can do that in two different ways. I can actually here just change it to not equal. So basically what we're saying now is, are they equal? Yes. If yes, divert it to the side. Perfect. Awesome. That's really nice. Is this done? I mean, if I only want to do in one level, then yes, it's done. If I want to do in multiple levels, then I need to do a little bit more work. We'll do the multiple levels afterwards, because this is just very easy to look through, and then we can do the scale up at the end. So now the question is, that was the... Oh, don't do that. That was the first one, which just happened to be a circle. Then we're going to go onwards to the next, which we then copy up here. And this one also needs a signal in. We're going to have to do a solution to this. Never have the same variable defined multiple places. Even I know that. Never. I mean, don't do it now, at least. There you go. This thing over here is temporary, like all things are. But it's just here to serve that I can... There. I can get the signal from that one into the other one. So this comes in here. Now it's evaluated. But this is problematic because this is still evaluating the top right-hand corner. So I actually need to rotate the signal once. Boop. Now it has rotated it clockwise, so that we're now evaluating the wedge. The wedge is that the next one? No. We can then also delete this. And then I can take these two. copy one up. I can remove this. And I can then add another one. Look at how easy it is. Now we evaluate the spike. Is it a spike? No, it is not. Actually, I don't need these. I don't want them to keep running. I just want them to only run when there's something to run. Because otherwise I'm just wasting stuff and it means more traffic. Then I'm going to take the next ones and go up here. I can start by removing the empty trains or empty lines here. There we go. And then do another rotator, which will then be the last one. Is it a square? No, it is not a square. And now comes the magic part. Are you ready? Ta-da! I think. So what are we doing here? We're asking again, is the first one a square? Nope. Is the second one a square? Nope. Is the third one a square? Nope. Is the fourth one a square? Yes. Okay, cool. But it just needs a little bit of time to get up here. So let's see if this one, fingers crossed, is it going to be diverted to the left? Yes, it is. Come on. Please work. Yes, it is. So there's a little bit of thing now. Now what we need to do is, or what we can realize now is that only one on each row will be active at any given time. That means I can just take this part here and then merge it in, because there will only ever be one of these that's active. So I can do that. That was funny how it just rotated there and here. There we go. And we just build this for all of them. Now that means I'd also have to build it on the second row, but I don't bother with that. I can simply do this, and now I can copy it everywhere. Does it work? So we should see circles. The second one, we should see wedges. They're here. They are being diverted. The third one, I should be seeing, let's look at the base shape, is a spike. I'm seeing spikes being diverted. Perfect. And the last one should be the square that we looked at right here. So that means now all of these, we now have found out what we want on the ground level. Woohoo! That's amazing, isn't it? That is good. So now what we've already done is we've done a shape selector. We've put it in here. That's great. There's still a little bit of work remaining. And that is actually the rotation part, because the cutting and rotation part, because this one is a full sphere, full circle that comes in, but I actually need it to be only in the top right hand corner. So we're going to do a little bit of stuff here. And I think I'm going to be having this one come in from all the way over here. There. Why is it? What? Oh, right. Damn, that one. There. So it's going to be exactly the same now, but it comes in here. And then I just take this out and do this instead. Good. So what I want to do instead is, oh, that's not working. It has to come in from the south. Okay. All right, this is something we'll figure out later on. Don't think I'm going to need that space, but whatever. Right, so what I need to do is I need to now take this line and simply get it out here as 4 lines. So this is basic stuff that we've done before with rotators and all that stuff. So in here, it's actually really important that we do this split here. And let's do that. Let's see how that goes. And take it here and then rotate, rotate. And then I need to look in the north section. So that is correct. And then I need to rotate the other ones. Why does it not give me the output? There we go. So now we have turned one belt into 4 belts. Well, actually, more or less, at least. But 1/4 of a belt we've turned into 1 belt. So we're just going to be needing to do a design, basic design here, that we can then use. So we got a new shape for this, and I've decided that I wanted to get my signals in from south. So I get the signal in from south. This is a great place to spread it upwards, so that I can then take the other ones, which can then spread it that way. I think that makes perfect sense. And that means, what are we going to do? Well, we are going to take these two, and then we're just going to copy it and realize that that's not going to work, because now you will see that they're supposed to be on the top left-hand corner. But they will of course be in the top right hand corner, because that's what we designed it for. So I'm gonna need to do all of this again, and then try to sort of figure out and say, okay, that's actually the correct one. And that gets us all the way up here. Now we have all of these. This is the circle in the top right hand corner. We get the wedge in the top left hand. We get the spike in the lower left hand, and we got the square in the lower right hand corner. They're all coming out here, and that means the only thing we'd actually need in order to make our black and white version of this desired square is actually to just combine them. But that's actually where we get a lot of new trouble, because if I just, like, the simplest thing in the world would be just taking my blueprint, this one here, and just say, hey, smash them together, yeah, awesome. But the problem is that that doesn't always work. Because what if there is nothing here? What if this is an empty shape? So it'll be like these two trying to merge something where one of them is an empty shape. It's not going to work. So we need to do some logic on identifying that. And that's something we're going to be looking at the next one. And that will also mean that we will be able to, in the next episode, to actually be sending out any uncolored one level square that doesn't have any pins. Kind of makes sense when it's a 1 level, and also no crystals. So we can do that in the next episode. But what we did right now is do a selection. The only thing we need to do is to make it into 3 layers, which is easy because that's just something I just copy paste that. And there we go. Now it is in a full 3 level setup, and we now have 12 outputs of each of the shapes we need for our single one. Now, if you're sort of looking at sort of modularity of this, well, you can also see that if I could just do like 2nd level, 3rd level, and 4th level, there's already something we can work on here. So that's really nice. This is a small build. It's compact. It can transfer the stuff around. We have only one place where we define the variables. So that's good. And then we access it everywhere else as well. So that is super good. I have deliberately decided not to prune this part out here, because all of this is just copy paste of this one. So if this one's different, then it would be different. But instead, there are only these 4 blueprints that are almost the same. Then there are these 4 blueprints that are almost the same. And then there's going to be like this one. So that's all we did actually. But the beauty is coming up with the idea and then actually executing it in a nice and neat and a way that, yeah, works. Let's see. We are not getting any top ones. Oh, right. Well, you know, this is why we are not really done with the blueprints yet, are we? There. The other ones suffer from the same thing? No, there was just a single one. Well, that means all the other ones here are suffering from the same thing. Oops. Yep. Then, as I said, this is just a copy paste, so we can just do that one. And then that will be recovered. We'll see if they are all sort of flowing from here. Why is it not flowing? Where should this one be flowing? This should be flowing here. Ah, right. Okay, so it is flowing now. Good. There we go. So we're going to get inbound. Why was there a little break in it? Doesn't matter. It's flowing now. There we go. Oh, right. I copied it. I cut it and pasted it again. There we go. That's why it did. So this is flowing again. And we now have out here all the shapes. Next episode, we'll be looking at how to merge these, conditional merging, and we'll be looking at transporting it back, actually integrating into a real MAM that can do very limited things. So that means also integrating it up here with our, let's look at the MAM consolidation thing, taking this one and start actually getting the trains inbound. So I think this will be our location for the MAM, and then we'll just work from there. I wonder what's in here. There you go. That's weird why this is highlighted. Why are you highlighted? That's so weird. Like, this tile is weird. Anyway, that is all we're going to be making today. I'm super happy with the progress. It makes sense, it's good, and it works, so we can proceed with it. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. If you are a patron supporter, you get access to these blueprints. They're put in a specific MAM folder, and they will be updated continuously. So if I find a mistake, then I'll be updating them. If I expand it to also do something more, then I'll update them. So that's how it goes. So if you're watching this later, then maybe they will be slightly updated to be more generic. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you do, then leave a like, leave a comment, and of course, let me know if there's something I'm doing wrong or you could see better or anything like that. Until next time, take care and stay effective.